Hello. Oh man, I'm kind of off to the side. I must have moved my camera. Oh well. Key pushes the prisoner. This is the prisoner, the gangrel that we've captured. To get him moving. The feral looks none too pleased, but he follows his instructions. For now. We need to go, the sheriff says, his calm cracking under pressure as he looks furtively. Eden can only keep the police away for so long. If we get caught, we'll be wishing that maniac had finished us off in the warehouse. Your exhausted party picks themselves up and limps towards the bridge leading back to Ottawa. Your pace speeding up when sirens blare from the north. Over the border in Gatineau? That's definitely French. I'm gonna move on. Bouchard nearly topples over as he lurches into a run, and two of his mercenaries lean down to help him up. Luca looks over her shoulder. But I'm dumping grumpy when it... Luca looks over her shoulder, face painted with worry. Corliss doesn't have the reach that the prince did across the river, she says as you arrive at the edge of the construction site. If Arundel really was beckoned, we have a lot of slack to pick up. It's a good thing Corliss brought me back when she did. She edges into a full run as the police sirens grow closer. And maybe a few blushy ones, but shh, keep that. Oh, it's too early to make assumptions. This is not Key, this is us. It's too early to make assumptions, you grunt, your foot almost catching on metal support bar as you cross the bridge at a run. We already have enough trouble with the Anarchs. Rarely is the weight of power more keenly felt than in the event of its sudden absence. The bedrock of Ottawa's Camarilla society had patiently been chipped away at by hundreds of knives, each skillfully wielded by those kindred whose day-spawned dreams bloom ripe with a hunger for ascension, eternally waiting just out of reach. This is very amusing. Gatineau. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Loon. Gatineau. We already have enough trouble with the Anarchs. Yes. But they could wait. These Camarilla Society. Oh, no. The bedrock had been chipped away at kindred whose day-spawned dreams bloomed ripe with a hunger for ascension. The people trying to squeeze in past the Camarilla, I think. Yes. Plenty of English words didn't throw you off, too. Maybe I just, speak another language. I saw there was shit talking Quebec. Oh, dear. Man, look at this. We're not going to get anywhere. But they could wait. Undeath, after all, conferred a distinct advantage over the fleeting ambitions of humanity. And now, it seemed, their long nights of plotting were about to pay off. 4 nights ago, Ottawa's prince had simply disappeared, abandoning engagements which he had always routinely met with extreme punctuality. Yes, Ottawa's prince. Man, alright, starting this one over again. 4 nights ago. That many fingies. Ottawa's prince had simply disappeared, abandoning engagements which he had met with extreme punctuality. What was first seen as an unusual political slight became a concern on the second night of missed appearances, and by the third and fourth, unrest within the community was all but inevitable. As the prince's seneschal, your sire, Eden Corliss, now faces the full weight of responsibility, and powerful kindred have already expressed doubts of her ability to handle the pressure. Of course, if she manages to impress them, she may rise to the office of prince herself. Despite what some may think, the title has always been gender neutral within Vampire the Masquerade. A quick dash to safety. It's interesting that... Look, Gerard does exist. Okay, so we didn't kick him out of the game by saying that he chooses our prey. That's quite interesting. The thirst is real. I know. I know. We see the smug look. Oh, dear. I keep stirring shit up. I can't say I'm sorry. This is like my second favorite character in the game. But it's interesting that only 4 nights of absence causes such, I don't know, disturbance within the vampire, like, court? Because they're immortal, right? Like, what's a few months if you just sleep them by? But apparently each day is critical, even when you have eternity. It's nearly dawn when you arrive back in your haven, exhausted from the night's events. You throw open the carved wooden doors, pleased to find Gerard waiting for you attentively, his face creased with worry. He's dressed as befits his situation, a well-tailored suit not quite ostentatious enough to feel completely out of place on the average Ottawa street, but sufficiently genteel if you were required to attend the larger kindred court. I love Gerard. I guess you really have to tie up loose ends if you decide to take a decade-long nap. Yeah, and I guess, as well, if you have any ghouls, like Gerard here is a ghoul for me, they need to feed on you regularly to maintain their immortality. So if I decided, like, hey man, peace, I'm gonna go sleep for the next 20 years, I don't really want to see... I don't like this TikTok thing, I'm gonna wait until it gets banned by the government, bye. I think your ghouls might die. I don't know how often they have to feed. I think it's regularly, though. Like, once a week? Once a month, maybe? Might be once a month. I'm not too sure. He'd die. Yeah, no, we don't want Gerard to die. You guys will see, but he's really a good character in this game. I like him a lot. Would it depend on how long they've been a ghoul? Don't know. I guess I could look that up. I'm kind of curious myself. Why not? Let me see. All right. Ghoul, Vampire the Masquerade. I probably have to open up the rule book. I don't have it on this computer. Fuck. Let's see. Ghoul, yes, Ghoul, and then Ghoul rules. Why not? Ghoul rules. Vamp by Night Studios. Yeah, let's see. What does Reddit have to say about this? You can look it up. Give me something to try and get my brain cells back. No, no, no. Please. Sit back, relax. It's better this way. Any kindred can maintain any number of ghouls in theory. Ghouls operate on typical blood-bound rules, so it takes 3 drinks for maximum influence. Long-time ghouls go a bit wrong. Yeah, they start getting weird. We learned that with Carlos. Ooh, ghouls can get jealous of each other. Interesting. I mean, it is literally an addiction. Ghoul rules. A ghoul, yes, yes, yes. Wait, this is if you want to create a ghoul? What? No, your cat threw up. Oh, rip. Sounds like ghouls is like having little kids that never quit milk feeding. That's very funny. Oh, where was I? Gerard, yes. Hello, Gerard. Oh, dear. Quarter of my stream time. Doesn't matter. It's good just talking to you guys as well. Your clothes are in tatters, he states dryly. Did your evening not go as planned? When you don't immediately respond, he continues, with your permission, I'll inquire about finding you a vessel to tide you over. Whereas many kindred of your standing would employ more than one retainer to do their bidding, You'd been fortunate enough with Gerard's skill set that the idea of acquiring a second servant rarely enters your mind. As with many personal attendants, Gerard is a ghoul, a mortal who has been granted a taste of your own blood in exchange for unnatural strength and abilities. These powers come at a price of their free will. Ghouls become addicted to their master or mistress's blood, and withdrawal symptoms can be quite cruel, and eventually will kill them. You look entirely too pleased with yourself. So why only have one when they make such devoted servants? Each ghoul requires maintenance, a regular feeding of your own precious vitae to maintain their agelessness and enhanced strength, and you have little wish to be so burdened with the additional upkeep, whereas one superior servant will do nicely. Universally adapted to your needs, your ghoul also excels in one area in particular. So now we get to choose Gerard's background. Gerard was once a soldier for a major crime syndicate. He may be my servant now, but he still has contacts in the underworld that I can make use of. I picked that my first time. That definitely makes him an interesting person. He was once a financial assistant for one of my sire's companies. His skills bring additional cash flow and problem solving. Ugh. He was a butler for one of the wealthiest families north of the U.S. border. His attention to detail is almost uncanny. All right, it's been cleaned up. Oh, I'm so sorry. My little cat has actually, I guess since I have him, he hasn't thrown up at all. He did eat a cobweb, though. That was disgusting to watch. I could not stop him in time. I'm surprised he didn't throw that up. Well, I'll be useless now. My brain's... Cat tax. Bug floss. Tasty. Found some string and then... No. Yeah, I will say this little guy did once. I caught him eating like part of a blanket. Just... And then the next morning, pooped out the string, but it's string, so it was long and strandy. And he thought he was done using the bathroom, but the string was still kind of in there, so as he got out of his kitty litter, he dragged it across the floor, and I screamed. That was disgusting. He tries to eat my... No! Oh no, that sounds terrible. Oh, you'll see that again. Or a hair, yeah. I was about to make a joke about being your middle child, but... I would scream too. It was... Yeah, it was a bit horrendous. I could tell he was a little distressed by it. I was distressed by it. Just don't call me mommy. No. I feel like the middle one is kind of just a little boring compared to the top or the bottom. The top one's definitely the most interesting, him being a soldier for a crime syndicate. But the bottom one, I don't know if he was like the best butler there ever was. So he didn't play with it. His poop? No, thank goodness. No, I cleaned it up pretty soon after it happened. Hello, Shay. Welcome. Especially when you'd expected someone to come over. Oh. Oof. Yeah, I think the last one... I tried the first one my first time. I kind of want to do the last one just for... I don't know. The second sentence is honestly more interesting than the first. I think you can be a boring butler. To be honest, I don't even know what is entailed in the work of a butler, right? I've never met anybody rich enough to have one. Oh, the string. No, I threw that away too. Oh. Yeah, I'll go with the last one. Gerard's life had been spent in service to the family of a wealthy politician in the late 1800s. His detail-oriented loyalty had been such that he attracted the true power behind the money. The Camarilla elite. When he was afflicted with a deadly disease, his masters offered him the choice of agelessness in exchange for an eternity of service. If the records are to be believed, Gerard hadn't so much blinked before agreeing to the terms. When you had proven yourself as a neonate, Prince Arundel had gifted him to you. The gifting of ghouls' servants is relatively rare, but passing the blood bond you had gone surprisingly smoothly. Interesting. So Gerard is older than we are. He was Prince Arundel's, at least it seems like he was Prince Arundel's own ghoul. That's a very different background than when I got the first time. You discard your clothes, and Gerard collects them gingerly, his nose wrinkling at the state of their disrepair. These won't be of much use to you anymore, he says. I'll see about replacing them. He pauses for a moment. And your companion? He remains... well? You catch sight of Fade out of the corner of your eye, lounging back in one of your comfortable recliners. I love that it makes our haunted specter a little bit sassy, because that just fits the fact that I called them Fade so much more. I'm not sure if anything can harm him, Gerard, but I'm sure he appreciates your concern. Gerard has known about Fade for years now. When one is observed talking to the open air often enough, even a loyal servant eventually asks questions. You decided that if you can trust anyone, it would have to be the man who guards you while you sleep, and needs your blood for life. Excellent to hear, Gerard says with a firm nod. Well, I'll have your replacement clothes by the time you wake up for the night. That'd be good. Thank you, Gerard. If I may be so bold, Master, Gerard says with an unusual degree of trepidation in his voice. Has Prince Arundel resurfaced yet? I've heard rumors among the servants. They believe he's left the city. This means he's also weird as fuck. Yeah. Employee for eternity. Yeah. Kindred affairs are not the domains of mortals, Gerard. No matter how of age, you should remember this at all times. Bit of a dick. I like Gerard. I don't want to put him down. Also, he does have his own little loyalty reputation meter there. Gotta keep an eye on that. Like, I would imagine having a good ghoul is invaluable. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? Like, yeah. Same. So it'd probably be taken care of. Yeah. No, I can't imagine why you would want your ghoul to dislike you. Unless it's the Tsamisi. True. Like an off-road butler. Yeah, yeah. We don't know yet, I admit. I'll be speaking with Corliss about it tomorrow once I've had time to rest. I believe all is well, Gerard, I say with uncertainty. Rundle does not always explain his whereabouts at the court, nor is he required to. In the meantime, Corliss has everything under control. A servant should know better than to ask such questions. I suffer him with a withering gaze and no words at all. No, let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? It's Gerard. We gotta love Gerard. I'm sorry. I'm just deciding that for us. That was unexpectedly candid of you, Master, Gerard says. I appreciate it. The greater my knowledge, the better I will be able to serve. He inclines his head with respect. will that be all for today? Just about, you say, weariness enveloping you as the outside world grows closer to dawn. I'll be needed at Corliss's office tomorrow, and I may be gone for most of the night. I have a job for you in the meantime. Gerard Butler. Yeah, it's a little punny, isn't it? Alright, we could have him try to research the construction site, see if any kindred have ties to it. There was an explosion. I need you to gather any information about what the police have found. Find out if there's any recent sales of large explosives, most likely in the underground economy. Let's be honest, let's give him the middle one, right? Somebody blew up the big fucking thing while we were trying to get inside. Why? Let's just tell him that. Of course, Master. I'll get on it right away and hopefully have something helpful by the time you're done with your sire tomorrow night. It's kind of an interesting relationship throughout this game that we have with Gerard, because he tends to do most of the work during the day, like managing our estate and everything. But he's still human. He needs to sleep at night, but obviously we don't wake up to the night. So when we wake up, he's done with his day, and he gives us, like, the whole report for the day, and then he passes the fuck out and tries to wake up by the time we would come back. Swing shift. Yeah, exactly, right. But it would be like, it'd be like on being on a swing shift with your manager, which is kind of what we are to him. Gerard finally leaves you in peace, and you make your way to your bedchamber, eager to put the disastrous night behind you. It surprises you how easily you fell back into the pattern of violence from your fledgling days, but now that you have the time to reflect, your entire body shudders, and you feel weak in the knees. Unlife in the upper crust of Ottawa's Camarilla society is rarely dull, and is filled with very real dangers. But those are attacks of political nature, and to fall in a battle of wits rarely leads to a violent and bloody end, although it's certainly known to happen. How frustrating it would be to be awake when only Walmart and Waffle House are open. Oh, I know, the night shift. I'm sorry, Wyvern. Vampires hang out at Waffle House, that's canon. Except Walmart isn't even open. Really? Are some Walmarts open 24/7? I've been inside, I don't know how I've managed to do this, but I've been inside a Walmart like 4 times in my life. It's not a place that I've ever gone often. I think growing up I would always go to Target instead. Many are open 24 hours. Really? Interesting. Tonight, you faced final death on more than one occasion, and the resulting flood of memories from your mortal life brought back a heavy weight of long-repressed guilt. They used to be, but they cut down the time because of wanting to reduce crime. Yeah, I can see that. You used to end your shifts at a Waffle House. When you worked at... Oh, yeah. Or Sonic. Late night, 24-hour coffee shop. Yeah. I know, I feel like... I don't know. I feel like that would be fun. Could be fun. Could also just be... a sketch house. Tim Hortons, is that open 24/7? I know nothing about Tim Hortons other than Canadians talk about it a lot. Yeah, it depends on where you set it up, how you market it, how you maintain it, a lot of stuff, but yeah. I think I just got a package. I'm not too sure. I heard a strange noise. It sounded like the door. Tonight, you faced final death on more than one occasion. Oh yes, we already read that. Fear of dying is a persistent instinct in both mortals and vampires alike. Even decades after your first death, you're surprised to still feel the faux spike of adrenaline and the gnawing fear of the grave. Agelessness, as you quickly learn upon your embrace, can be stripped violently away, much the same as it is granted. Left to their own devices, a vampire's unlife could extend indefinitely, but the undead eventually desire purpose. True to the spirit of your damned nature, this desire manifests in the form of deadly politics, activism, or violence. For years now, the latter of these has been the furthest thing from your thoughts, but thanks to Corliss's prompting and Robert Ward's strangely personal attack, you're once again reminded that you are inherently a violent creature, and the thought both repulses and intrigues you, though not in equal measure. Unboxing video. Usually they ring the doorbell. That just sounded like the mail slot getting fucked with, so it's probably just, I don't know, spam. I'm looking at the box. He does love trash. It's true. If I fits, I sits. Yeah. Doesn't matter how many fancy little toys I get him. His favorite toy is always just like cardboard wrappings from a box that I ripped apart. And after one day, he's bored of those. It has to be new and it has to be trash. Like a true goblin, yeah. Barbaric attacks are the desperate means of creatures beneath me. I prefer to deal in intelligent negotiation to get what I want. I am pleased to be reminded of what I truly am. Using more subtle tactics, violence can put an end to my problems permanently. It's not the nature of my own feelings that matters at the moment. What's important for me is to understand why Corliss wanted me there, so I can leverage it if I ever need to. The means to an end are irrelevant, so long as the outcome benefits Camarilla society and quashes anarchs' activity within the city. We're a Malkavian, so I kind of want to get into that a little bit, and I feel like Malkavians are not... I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Nobody has any brain cells. That's okay. I just have half a can of Monster, which is like half a brain cell. Watch yourself, stepson. Oh dear. What have I started? You need mine for a one-shot later. Yeah. I mentioned the joke. That's why I said, what have I started? Just one for the couch. Why not? What's important for me is to understand why Corliss wanted me there. Let's try to figure that out. Strange, is it not? Fade says from his seat back in the living room that that you'd be roped back into all of this mess so suddenly. The violence nearly getting blown up. Isn't it about time for you to go to bed? You mutter. Fade rarely lingers this close to sunrise. I've seen more of you tonight than in the past 2 weeks combined. Fade sighs. Oh, God, what a pair of dreadfully dull weeks. Can you blame me for skipping past the good parts? Most people do. Leave me be. You wave a hand idly. You simply don't have the patience to deal with him at the moment. Fade's feeling unusually snippy tonight. The excitement has clearly gotten to him. What kind of fourth wall bullshit is this? We chose, I forgot you missed the beginning. We chose to be a Malkavian vampire, one of the vampires that are slightly insane, and our insanity has manifested in a specter that haunts us. I don't know if it's real or if it's just a hallucination, but it let us name this specter, so I named it Fade. Just like a creature of flesh and blood, Fade has a personality all his own, and you've had no choice but to become accustomed to it over the years. He's aloof and irreverent, but from time to time, other personality traits shine through. Oh boy, oh we can, oh man. Fade is often friendly and gives well-meaning advice. Fade can be a bit unpredictable and snarky. I think that has to be it. I don't think we can choose any other option. Hello, hello, Jay. You named it. That makes it real now. That's true. Yeah, not the first one. He's intelligent but aloof. His insights are excellent, but he favors you with few pearls of wisdom. Is there a way to mix these two? He's a killer, prone to giving into the beast and urging you to engage in the most horrible crimes. Just combine all three, except instead of killer, make some other crime. No, we gotta go with the unpredictable and snarky. That just fits it too well. You want me to leave you be? Fade snaps. You ever think about what it would be like in my shoes? I don't get much of a choice in the matter. I go where you go. I can just tune it out, but I can't really leave. Maybe think about that next time you want me to bow out during the exciting bits. He shakes his head. Just do you. Oh, just you do you. He stands up, unsteadily from the comfortable recliner. You have to admit that he looks quite dashing in his... Do we get to customize him further? Oh, man. It's a criminal you're not using Fade's voice. I need to get back into it. It'll take me a little bit. Character voices aren't something I can just, like, do immediately. I have to usually spend a few minutes trying to figure out how they sound. Business? Jeans? No. Red leather jacket? No. Designer winter coat? Suit and tie? Maybe. Floor-length red dress? No. Straight jacket. Flowing black occult robe. Look at that. Fucking look at that. My God, we've actually just recreated Fade in this game. That's fantastic. You approach your bedchamber with relief, all other details flying from your burdened mind as you focus on renewing your strength by sleeping the day away. It's a canon event! That's it, guys. We have willed Fade into existence. Other people have to recognize him now. Yeah, you have to do the voice. I will. Give me a little bit. I might have to listen to him first. To try to, like, refresh myself. I think it's been a little bit since I've voiced Fade. Oh, what is our bed? How do we sleep? We're fucking cracked. Let's sleep in a coffin, right? Luxurious bed, regular bed? No, come on. We're a little kooky. He sounds like you, does he? I'll just make a Fade compilation, but I can't if it's not safe for work, it's not safe for Twitch. The coffin had made Gerard surprisingly uncomfortable at first, but he adapted quickly, as is his nature. In truth, you had gotten the idea from Corliss, and for whatever reason, it simply feels right. You slip in and close the lid above you, enveloping yourself in blackness. You will make it. Yeah, but that's why I said... Or maybe, do you mean you just, like, make one for funsies? An image floats before you of the mortal you attacked tonight, in a rage of hunger. In your blood-starved mind, you'd been certain that they were someone from your past, before the embrace. A lover, perhaps, although you can no longer recall all the particulars. Like the last one, dude, yeah. Safe work depends on the workplace. That is true. What you can remember is the intense feeling of wrongness you'd felt. Like there was a secret locked within your mind, nagging from behind a wall of repressed memories. You close your eyes, and images flood back in quick flashes before solidifying in a scene you'd visited often, but never remembered in your waking hours. A lost memory, stolen from your cold, long-dead mind, but it's resurfacing more frequently now, as if something has shaken it loose to rattle around in your head like a specter. You'd been chosen by your sire because your mortal abilities fit with her ideals for the Malkavian clan. The dead have no need of mortal memories, but without some anchor to the past, your humanity will be gone forever. The vision is as vivid as it always is, and for fleeting seconds you're confused as to why you're surprised. You've always been here. This is who you are. In life, before you were chosen by Corliss to join Clan Malkavian, you were... Twitch does not share the same opinion, sadly. Yeah, true. A university professor. A paramedic. An actor. Interesting. I don't think I actually had these same options. You have to share a coffin with Fade. Let's be an actor, right? Why not? Why not? That could be fun. Dexterity, charisma, and composure. An actor, adept at stagecraft, and convincing an audience that I could be anyone, at all, but myself. I can't remember what options I got when I played the first time. You remember now. You remember everything. Your life, your death, your embrace. No, that's not right at all. The scent of blood, oblivion flooding over your senses like a cool wave, and an entirely unfamiliar set of eyes staring back as the gift of undeath takes you. Dead eyes glazing over as they watch you rise. The disturbing image of your past is replaced by a more comforting one. Your sire hovering over you as she brought you back from the brink. You remember the smile on her blood-smeared face. Light from above casting a radiant halo around her head. In that singular moment, she was the most beautiful thing you had ever seen. And you knew, with unerring certainty, that each night of your continued agelessness was a gift she had seen fit to bestow upon you. My trap card. I mean, what? Chapter 2. Misgivings. Hello? Who keeps Snapchatting me? My fucking Snapchat keeps suggesting the same people to add as friends. It's like, just because they're in my phone contacts doesn't mean I want them seeing my drunk snaps. I'm sorry. I want drunk snaps. This inhospitable land of ice and snow ill suits me. My walking hours are plagued by chill reception. In climate as well as demeanor of my Camarilla hosts, Prince Arundel risked much by opening his city to me, and until the night the terror Ur-Shulgi releases his grip on precious Alamut, I shall remain indebted to the Ottawa Ventrue for their grudging hospitality. The rise of the Black Shepherd has resulted in unsettling new alliances I would have once believed unthinkable. Kashif Salik, Banu Hakim, Vizier. The grinning face of Robert Ward stares up at you, all blocky and alabaster teeth. Oh, all blocky alabaster teeth, filed in perfect rows like tombstones. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a surprising amount of you. So this is Robert Ward. This was the very large man who threw us into the sky and just about killed us. There's an anger behind those dead eyes, but it's largely subverted with a mirthful quirk of his lips. His shirt is unbuttoned. Hold on, no. And his crossed arms are laced with sinewy muscle. For the second time in this many nights, this man has caused you no small amount of difficulty. Oh, for the second time in as many nights as this man has caused you no small... For the second time in as many nights as this man has caused you no small amount of difficulty. I don't understand this sentence. How am I reading this wrong? Lumberjack vampire. He kind of does look like that. For the second time in as many might as what? And all of my drunk theories. This man has caused you no small amount of difficulty, although, were you given the option, you'd doubtless repeat today's misfortune over the events of the previous night. Huh? Oh well. You massage your temples with your thumb and forefinger as you place the Anarch's renegade file back on your desktop. When mortals prattle on about their vampire myths, they rarely suggest that the undead, too, might be afflicted with such trite concerns as stress headaches and sinking stupor of boredom. Ugh. I can't think of what my last drunk snap was. It was probably me wandering through my old apartment building, just like ranting and complaining about the shit that got left in the hallway. That place went downhill fast. I don't know if I ever talked about it, but when I moved in, it was super nice and clean. Me ordering a bunch of warm tortillas. Yeah, tortillas. My God, did you hear that word? Tortillas. Wow. Hurricane Katrina? More like Hurricane Tortilla. Yeah, I don't know why. That's impressive. That I said that wrong. Tortilla, yeah, Jesus. Oof. I don't know how that happened. I know how to say tortilla. Trust me. How dare you say jail now? To be fair, spending $3 on a warm tortilla, it might as well be a tortilla. Right in the vine, yeah. Ugh. I've been a menace all stream long. Good. 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 Fade is pacing back and forth through the middle of the room, clearly bored out of his fucking mind. I can't believe she's sticking us in here, sitting at the same desk after what happened last night, he says. It's intolerable. He's wearing a white button-down shirt tucked into his pants, held up by black suspenders. You've never seen that outfit before. Very interesting. What happened to your occult robe, you ask? Fade stops dead in the middle of the room and turns in a clean pivot to face you. This is a totally different game than what I played. Fade actually changes the whole game. It feels like I'm playing something new. This is very interesting. You don't actually think that you can dictate what I wear, do you? He mimics a person typing on an invisible keyboard. Let's see. He strokes his chin in mock thought. A white V-neck shirt tucked into an out-of-date pair of khakis. Maybe a pair of glasses for that sophisticated look. He shoves the imaginary keyboard aside, and you swear you hear it crash on the floor. I'm not a set of sliders and calibrations. I think we should both treat each other with a little more respect. But you always wear the occult robe. I thought I'd try something new. Do you like it? No? I kind of want to be honest. No, I like the occult robe better. What is this look? What is he wearing? Do it. Let's be sassy. Not really. No. No. The new clothes fade away, replaced by the occult robe. Better. Much. You look back at the desk. Do we have a relationship bar with Fade? That would be insane, right? No, we don't. Oh, but that would be so good if we did. I think that means he's non-romanceable, which is too bad. It's what Fade would want, that's true. Tell him he looks like a dad. Much. You look back at the desk. Ward's face is still down there, staring up at you, grinning. Oh, it's going to be a long night. From the moment you greeted her in the early hours of the night, your sire had been beside herself with irritation at the botched warehouse raid. It wasn't so much the dressing down that disturbed you, however, it's the fact that she apologized to you in the aftermath. Eden Corlith never apologizes to anyone, let alone a child who disappointed her. Before she hid herself in her office, she handed you several file folders and instructed you to review their contents. Still recovering from your disbelief, you missed her instructions entirely, and she had to repeat them with a snarl. No further apologies were forthcoming. I'm on the floor. Is he dressed to go to Disney World? Yeah, I don't know what that look was. That's like, what did that interaction gain? Is that us like saying he's always going to be in the occult robe from now on? What an interesting addition to this game. I like this so much more. He's dressed like it. That will make him change. Your desk sits to the left of a massive set of double doors leading to Corliss's private office. Walls of striped marble rising on either side to an impressive peak. Voices above a hushed whisper. Voices above a hushed whisper have a tendency to echo. Voices above a hushed whisper have a tendency to echo throughout the chamber at dizzying frequencies, which unnerve you as much now as they did when you first set foot here. Your naive eyes wide as they took in the opulent splendor. Jasper has been forgiven for the horrendous Spanish error. I think I've just seen the tortilla meme too much. It fucked me up. Look at me, I'm dressing like an average human. Haha. I love that it adds Fade and makes them so customizable. Swiss mushroom melt. Hey, I'd like to order a quesadilla. A what? A cheese quesadilla? Hey, Princess Lydia, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could make it as well. I hate you. A quesadilla? That's even worse. You know, a quesadilla, it's where you put cheese inside a tortilla and heat it up. Make it a little melty. Groovy times, oh dear. On a typical visit to Corliss's office, your sire requires little of you aside from the occasional clerical duties she couldn't entrust to her buzzing hive of worker bees. You've often wondered if the dreary tasks were merely her way of asserting dominance over the younger generation. But you have to admit to yourself, the constant stream of reports on Ottawa's kindred community have been useful to keep an eye on. In modern nights, knowledge can be a deadly weapon. You thumb through the reports. There must be at least one on every important member in Ottawa's kindred community. Primers on these important kindred are now available on your stat screen. Yes, turn on storyteller mode. Good. Parliament of Knives is primarily focused on alliance building with story branching, but will sometimes check your attributes. Yeah. We already know all this. This is what it was for the last game. Notable kindred of Ottawa. Let's see. Sheriff Key. Yes, we can look at what he looks like. Y'all hurt me. That's even worse. Do the fade voice so I don't. Reminds me of my tour guide back in France. Was making fun of us silly Americans. Oh dear. There are a few French words in this game that I butcher every time. It hurts. I'll do it again somehow. The Force. So far we've learned about Prince Arundel. Does it have a picture of him? Oh, it does. Yes. Embraced several centuries ago, Arundel seemed to be the name of his mortal birthplace, which is actually somewhere in England. I remember looking it up. It's what a strange name for like a district? City? I don't think it's a town. Few kindred know his birth name, and if they do, they aren't telling. No. Eden Corliss, our sire. Dark and dangerous, embraced centuries ago in Birmingham. I forgot, both her and Arundel came over into Canada from the UK. Luca Corliss, our sister. It's not how I remember her looking. Interesting. The second child of Eden Corliss, our younger sister, Sheriff Key. Because we cannot romance Fade, I have a feeling you guys are going to want this man instead. Because he looks like he's just the lead singer of a goth metal band. Looks like Morticia. Yeah, kind of does. Yep. Is that Peter Steele? That is actually what I thought when I saw him, right? It looks a lot like him. I think, to be honest, he's probably close to the same size as well. Peter Steele was fucking enormous, right? He was like 6'7" or 6. He was way too tall. Typo negative, yeah. Yeah, he was massive. I remember somebody was once like, because, of course there's nudie pictures of him out there. Somebody was once like, this man's schlong is huge. And I was like, oh, come on, like, that looks pretty normal size. And then they said how tall he was. And so I was imagining the ratio, and I was like, okay. 6'8". Jesus Christ. Actually bid on that magazine, gave up. Oh, 2,000. I thought that was 20,000. Yeah, he's so tall, it's insane. You don't think it looking at him, but I don't know. It's really like tragically ironic that he, I think, died from a blood condition or something, and the name of his band was Typo Negative. Rest in peace. He's proportionate. Yeah, it is too bad. But yeah, he does look a lot like Peter Steele, and it's very amusing because this is a Nosferatu, right? Whereas the other Nosferatu we get in this game is Bouchard, who looks a lot more like a normal Nosferatu. He was only 48. Yeah. I mean, it was a blood condition, right? I remember hearing it and being like, that is so sad, but also so ironic, given that your band name is a blood type. Although, O negative, is that even a thing? It's just type like O, right? Oh well. was an intestinal thing. Was it? Oh, I thought he had a blood condition or something. Really? Oh. Maybe not then. I think the other romance option we get is Jordan. Who, to be honest, I didn't interact with much at all my very first gameplay. Oh yeah, no, height and size don't always correlate, but no, I was seeing the picture and I was like, that's normal, and then I found out how tall he was and I was like, on that body, Can we go for our sire? That's a good question. Yeah, Eden is impressive. I wonder if we can. Let me look it up. I thought I looked it up and there were only like 3 options. I can check though. Bark. Vampire the Masquerade. Parliament of Knives. Romance. Who can we romance? Key and Jordan. Or Luca. Our own... I mean, it's not like our actual sister, right? It's the... We just happen to share the same sire, but it is... It is basically our sister. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that Luca was a DLC character. I only ever got this game with the DLC. And Sevnik? I don't know who the fuck Sevnik is. I might have accidentally killed him or something. Yes, so Key, Jordan, or Luca. Key, Jordan's gender changes actually based on what your preferences are. Key does not. Do we have Sevnik here? Is that listed? Robert Ward, Ophelia, Heinrich Lang, Leishan Gray, Salak. I wonder if they meant Salak? Kashif Salak? Oh well. I don't really know much about Luca either. Oh well, let's get back to the game. I only have about half an hour. The Brooklyn accent. What? Did he have a Brooklyn? Oh my god, I can't even say it. Brooklyn accent. Oh. I don't know what it is. Sometimes he did. Interesting. Sometimes drinking Monster makes me like feel like a little congested right there in my sinuses. Super deep. That's very funny. Yeah, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of typo negative. They're not exactly, I don't know, my favorite genre, but I don't mind them. They definitely have like the look down, or had. I'll have to look into it. All right. You lean back in your chair, grateful for the quiet night that work time provides you. Grateful for the quiet that nighttime work provides you. I just butchered that sentence. You imagine the building during the day, swarming with hundreds of mortals, all going about their agendas. Then you look down at the files again and drum your fingers along the edge of your desk. Maybe the constant buzz of businessmen and women would be preferable after all. He rocks the vampire coats. You stare up at the ceiling, unsure whether or not it's safe to leave and go out about your night, or if Corliss expects you to remain here until she tells you otherwise. Since the Camarilla ordered an online communications blackout, your nights have become dreadfully dull. Of course, after watching footage of the Second Inquisition's attack on Vienna, you understand why such precautions are warranted. Once the mortal inquisitors find a kindred domain, they stop at nothing until every last vampire is wiped out. Your mind drifts back to the hunt. How might you have dealt with the Anarch infestation if you were in charge? BRB. I will be here, at least for another 30 minutes, unless I keep fucking up and just can't speak. You're so cool. Oh, I see you meant. Well, thank you, Princess Lydia. Yeah, I figured, I don't know. I've been wearing the vampire coats for a while. I think, actually, I started adding them to my wish list when I started playing Vampire the Masquerade games to try to, like, fit the atmosphere. And now I just like the way they look too much. The Brujan gangrel clans were officially a part of the Camarilla not long ago. Immediate violence may not be the best idea. I would have a team sent to convince them to leave peacefully. Potential. Yes. Live your best life. Oh, you guys cannot see the stream. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I forgot to change the screen back. My Pokemon evolution includes the vampire coat now. It's true. The more I think about it, the more I believe we should have brought an overwhelming force and slaughtered every last Anarch. I think Corliss's plan was the right one, even if it didn't go perfectly. We forced the Anarchs to retreat and none of us died. There was no need to finish them, just send a forceful message. I don't know. A bigger, more dramatic coat each time. We should have worked out a better strategy. It would have been easy to manipulate the police into performing a raid. We should have been smarter and quieter. A small strike team might have been able to sneak in. I don't know. I'm not even sure what we're deciding here. Why is this? Why is it asking this? Maybe the first one, if these guys really were part of the court not long ago, we could have tried to convince them. It's really just Robert Ward that we have an issue with. You're shaken from your thoughts as the entry door slams open, revealing one of the city's more recent arrivals, a vampire of the Banu Hakim clan. If you guys remember Julian from the last game, that was his clan as well. I have absorbed nothing of this stream because of you. Nothing. It takes you a moment to remember his name, and by that point, he's already torn his way through the room in a storm of scowls and swirling robes. Greetings, Mr. Salick, you say solemnly, doing your best to reset the room to a sense of proper decorum. What can I do for you? I must speak with the Seneschal Corliss, the Vizier replies, wringing his tightly clasped hands. He smells musty, like old books, and his short black hair is unkempt. You imagine he hasn't groomed himself for several nights. Ugh. Ugh. No thoughts, only thought. Colin, what? What are you saying? Does this guy look like someone? O'Donoghue. Huh? Fade frowns at the Vizier as the Vizier passes through him. Who does this guy think he is, bursting in here with the demands? Don't give him what he wants. Look him up. All right, I will. I'm curious. Let's see. Look him up as Killian Jones. Killian Jones. Nope, not Lillian. That's not what I typed. Killian Jones. Oh, Captain Hook. From Once Upon a Time. Interesting. You know, he kind of does look like him, actually. I can see the resemblance. Yeah. It's very interesting that Fade doesn't like him. I have a very big spoiler for what happened with this man when I played the first time, but he's definitely one of the characters that you cannot meet a middle ground with. You either are fully on his side or fully against him. God, I love that bastard. And he, in the Camarilla, the Banu Hakim create a very interesting dynamic because the Banu Hakim are very similar to the clan Tremere, so much so that they're almost like, I don't know, the Eastern equivalent of it. And the Tremere, I can't even remember how it happened. Maybe the Tremere split off from them or something, but their skill sets are so similar that the Tremere are kind of pissy with them for having kind of risen up and come back to the Western world. I might be getting some of this wrong. This is what I remember. I really, really got into the Tremere lore at one point. But Tremere are historically very heavily Camarilla loyalists. So when the Banu Hakim came over and tried to like integrate themselves into Camarilla society, the Tremere did not like that because they felt like they were Tremere being elitists. Yeah, unfortunately, I know it's... sometimes I feel a little guilty that the Tremere are probably my favorite. But the Tremere definitely view themselves as like the best vampire clan there is. And even in the Camarilla, the Tremere have the kind of their own court of power within the Camarilla court. You can't make us look like other commoners. Yeah. Brujah and Tremere are probably my favorite. I don't know a lot about the Banu Hakim, other than they do a lot of similar stuff. Their sorcery, before the Banu Hakim came over, kind of blood sorcery and using vampire powers as magic was just a Tremere thing. Hello, Paper Lily. Why are you guilty over a fictional group? I mean, historically, a lot of... in Vampire the Masquerade lore, a lot of the Nazis were Tremere. Although, to be fair... it's really weird the way it describes World Wars, that it's almost like the vampires were just kind of watching a lot of the things happen and taking advantage of the entire situation without taking a side, really, either way. Until the nukes were invented, and then vampires got a little scared, and they're like, these humans figured out something they shouldn't have. Let's stop this war, right away, so they don't blow up the Earth. You can still bring up lore and shit. Yeah, no, I know. Without condoning, yeah. That's true. I don't know. I find it very interesting. And it's very interesting, like, how... I guess it's very cool how much history Vampire the Masquerade has tried to, like, actually put into their game and stuff. Hello, Carrie. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's starting to wake up. Or I guess Paper Lily. I think you're in Australia, right? I might be wrong about that. I am so fucking congested. I cannot breathe out of my right nostril right now, and it is driving me a little bit insane. I'm dead. I know. Yes, you have stayed up throughout the night. I'm a puddle on the floor. Hello, puddle on the floor. I'm Dad. Corliss wouldn't want me to let him in, so I should stall. Yeah, Fade doesn't like him either. It's like 10:30. You are in Australia. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. I'm glad I remembered. Fuck you. Not the kind of dead I mean. Fade doesn't want him in. Corliss wouldn't want me to let him in. Let me stall. The Vizier wrings his hands before schooling himself into a modicum of calm. I must speak with her regarding the absence of our prince, he says reluctantly. Once he realizes you're not going to simply let him in without a proper reason. His lack of oversight seems to have emboldened certain factions, which Arundel had forced into submission. You have to admit, that does sound serious. Perhaps you should check with your sire as to whether or not you should admit him. Please, wait here for a moment while I announce you to the Seneschal, you reply. As I'm sure you understand, given recent events, she's quite busy. He waves you on in a poor attempt at calm dismissal, and you slip through the double doors into Corliss's office. She looks up at you from her desk, spilling with paperwork and reports. Yes, child. The recent arrival of the Banu Hakim is here, demanding to speak with you. Should I tell him to leave? Kashif Salak is requesting an audience. It sounds like he has something very important to report. Why not? That's the truth, right? Too early to pick sides, although Fade, for some reason, has already picked one. I was going to try to write this morning. Corliss quirks an eyebrow. Does it? A great many things are of import at the moment, child. The least of which are the concerns of the Banu Hakim. She sighs. But I was expecting him to show up with demands. You were right to detain him, but it's best that I deal with the man now rather than leaving him to stew. Send him in. You step aside, and the Vizier practically marches into the office before dropping into an elaborate bow. It's lovely to see you, Eden, he says, as he stands up straight, flashing a nervous smile at the Seneschal. You can tell he's attempting to be charming, and it's obvious that Corliss is having none of it. Welcome to my office, Kashif Salak, she says bluntly. All business. You've caught me at an opportune time, so if I must request we skip the formalities and cut to the chase, what can I do for you? Apologies, Kashif mutters, as his eyes sweep the room, looking for a chair. There is none. To the point, then, he says with a flash of mild irritation. Last night my servant handed me a sealed letter, which he claimed to have been given him by a rather unusual courier. Furtive fellow, eyes like a ferret. The Vizier procures a neatly folded paper from one of his robes, voluminous pockets, and clutches it at his side. The letter claimed to be from an anonymous Tremere outside the city, and it went into great detail about how they intended to torture and eventually end me. In most cases, this wouldn't have been entirely unusual, given the enmity between the Tremere and Banu Hakim, but I have been placed under Prince Arundel's protection. Corliss rolls her eyes. And you believed that the prince's favor afforded you the privilege of peace of mind. Have you any idea, Vizier, how many death threats I receive on a weekly basis? Kashif shakes his head. Enough that I no longer read them. My servants simply burn them and make note of their purported authors in a ledger. Kashif seems taken aback, but that doesn't stop him from continuing. When I confronted Lang about his clan member's insult, you did what? Corliss's eyes burn with anger. Fade clasps his hands together, muttering to himself, Oh, interesting. Kashif continues as though he hadn't noticed Fade's interruption. Of course he hadn't. He insisted that my allegation was absurd and went on to suggest that I fabricated the letter in the first place. And what did you expect? Corliss hisses, reasserting control over the room. After the prince offered you protection, most Tremere left Ottawa in protest. Is it too much for your fragile ego to know that one single one remains? Does Lang's continued presence so stick in your craw, Vizier? And when did your once proud clan grow so fearful and petty? I don't have proper emojis to convey my feelings. I care little for the petty squabbles between opposing factions of sorcerers and agree with my sire that we'd be best served staying out of the bickering. I admire the power of the Tremere sorcerers and their long and loyal history with the Camarilla. I quietly supported them in opposition to the prince's public declarations. I have a feeling we're just going to go down the same route that we did last time I played this game, and I'll miss the other half of the story, but I don't know. I'm doing this for you guys, so that doesn't matter. I need to drink water. The Banu Hakim Viziers have need of the Camarilla's support after fleeing their homeland. I agree with the prince that they have the potential to be powerful allies. If I'm remembering correctly, the Banu Hakim had to flee their homeland, which was somewhere in Asia, probably. India? Maybe? Not sure. Because one of their, very, very old elders, maybe even, third-generation vampire, the the founder of the clan, or fourth, their elders rose up and started just killing all of their own offspring, eating them, consuming them. I think they went on just like a bloodthirsty rampage and started ripping apart their own clan. So they kind of said, fuck that, I'm out, and left. And that's why they came to the more western side of the world. So I don't know, are we taking a side or not? Fade doesn't seem to like this guy. And I'm inclined to just do whatever the fuck Fade says because, I don't know, I have Stockholm Syndrome. Listen to Daddy. Oh dear. Rude! Alright, well, if that's what we need to do... What happened to coffee? Are you broken? I finished my coffee. I did not sleep enough last night. I need a little bit more. Alright, well, if we're listening to Fade, I think we will silently give Kashif the finger. The Tremere have been loyal members of the Camarilla for centuries before your rebirth, and you were quietly disturbed when your prince had forsaken them in favor of admitting one of the assassins. Assamites, assassins, or the Banu Hakim, as they are now properly called in the West, have a long and sordid history with the Tremere, dating back centuries to 1496, when the Tremere afflicted them with a blood curse to prevent them from feeding off kindred blood, their precious vitae. The Banu Hakim had never forgiven them, and the mutual enmity has run hot ever since. The curse has been lifted for over 20 years now, but it seems some individuals refuse to leave the past in the past. Yes, so I believe in history, at one point, like this said, the Banu Hakim had been known for being vampires that would feed off other vampires, trying to consume their power and get stronger. And so the Tremere, Clan Tremere, kind of like uniformly, a lot of them spent a lot of their power to cast a big spell and put a curse on the clan, like this said, in 1496 that prevented the Banu Hakim from feeding on kindred blood. I can't remember what broke the curse 20 years ago. Maybe it was the event in Vienna. I know that sometime in the early 2000s, I thought it was 2008 though, a lot of the very powerful Clan Tremere vampires were all having like a big conference in Vienna, and the Second Inquisition found them and killed them all, and the clan has been kind of a mess since then. Kashif seems taken aback by Corliss's bluntness, and his right arm twitches involuntarily, hand twisting into an arcane claw. Corliss raises an eyebrow at the Vizier. Oh, Corliss raises an eyebrow, and the Vizier slowly relaxes his posture. I'm neither fearful nor petty, Seneschal, Kashif replies dryly. I merely petition the court on behalf of my own. On my own behalf. I was accepted into the city by its prince under the tradition of hospitality, after which the Tremere voluntarily left the domain in protest. If they now make external threats against kindred within the city, is that not an affront against the prince's domain? The traditions themselves. I back up Corliss. Be that as it may, we have yet to see any proof that these threats are even from the Tremere. How could we possibly hold them in contempt of the traditions without proof? Fair. I back up Kashif Salak. These are disturbing allegations. Perhaps we shouldn't be so hasty to dismiss them. I back up Kashif, but in a way that will help Corliss save face. We wouldn't want such rumors to run rampant while Prince Arundel is not receiving petitioners. Perhaps an investigation for the court's peace of mind. Primarily Middle East. Okay, that's what I thought. Went back to Mesopotamia. Yeah, Banu Hakim, that does sound a bit more Middle Eastern, not quite Indian. I'm too wary to take sides at the moment. Remaining quiet won't cur any favor, but also won't stir any anger. Are we full Corliss simping? I'd be lying if I said I didn't do it the first time, but we can do it again. It's linked to the Persian cult of Mithras. That sounds right. I thought Mithras was the one that rose up and started killing his own clan. I thought that is one of the Banu Hakim's elders. I might be wrong. I mean... I am all for simping for Corliss. Alright. That's that then. My sentiments exactly, Corliss says, flashing you an approving smile. Why would the Tremere play their hand so openly? Far more likely, another is manipulating you against them, using knowledge of your clan's sordid histories. Kashif nods sagely. It is a possibility indeed, but one which should be investigated. Between this boldness and the growing presence of anarchs, I fear the rumors being passed around Elysium may be true. Corliss arches an eyebrow, hands on her hips. That the prince has been called by the beckoning, Kashif continues, undeterred, off to the Middle East. By all accounts, the condition is pandemic. Elders from all corners of the globe unnaturally pulled to the Holy Lands to fight in the Gehenna War. Word is, our beloved prince is the latest to be called. Wild speculation, Corliss says with a sniff, but she says it too quickly. Both you and Kashif can sense that the circulation of such a rumor interests her greatly. None saw Runda leaving the city. Other elders in different cities have been disappearing without a trace, Kashif continues, pushing his luck. The beckoning strikes at random, drawing the elder blood home. Perhaps, one night, it will see all of us drawn to battle. Pray that such a night does not come soon. Fade snorts. It's gotta be nonsense. Convenient cover stories from missing kindred who were probably assassinated. Gorgeous, dangerous women. Yeah, sign me up. So is this game actually canon in the timeline? Night Road had elders being called to the beckoning. These games are not canon to Vampire the Masquerade lore itself, but the fact that elders are being called to the Gehenna War, like the beckoning is a canon game mechanic. Any vampire like older than, I think, 8th or 7th generation, it is canon in the game that they have somewhere in the back of their mind something is calling them away, and they're never completely present because they just want to leave to go to the Middle East. Yeah. So these games take that and play with that because, I don't know, there's a lot of story hooks within the game mechanics itself. This is one of them. And it's a good one. He used it on Leto. It uses, at least the rumor of this here. It's very amusing that Fade says this, though. I don't want to spoil anything, but Fade has too much insight for, I know now why it says don't play Clan Malkavian if you haven't played the game before. Fade is a little too insightful. It would be wise not to cast doubt on the power and presence of your prince, Kashif, especially after he extended his hand and offered you sanctuary. Fate assassinated Salem. Baseless rumors and speculation, I say. Leave the rumors and the whispers of Elysium. They must not be trafficked here. Why not? You know, if we're just simping for Corliss, I'll just throw a little bit of a threat in there as well. All are aware of the beckoning, Kashif says. Speaking of our prince being called is not to cast aspirations. Only the most powerful feel its pull. Such a rumor honors him. Yeah, Fade. Yeah, right. The Malkavians do kind of have the gift of foresight. So Fade is that gift manifesting itself, like you said, which is very interesting. I think it's a clever way to do it. It's like, it makes the Malkavian seem a bit more unhinged. Like, hey man, you tend to know what's actually happening. How? To which they reply, actually I don't. This guy, pointing to thin air, is the one that tells me all of that. Yeah, okay, thanks. Anyways, keep doing it, I guess. You're in and out of sleep. No worries, Carrie. Corliss sighs in an attempt to feign boredom. Enough. I've heard your petition, Vizier. I will open an investigation into the alleged Tremere threats. Does that satisfy you? He's like a sassy invisible time traveler. Yeah, a little bit. Fate can do whatever they want. Kashif nods and drops into a formal bow. My thanks. I'm grateful, Seneschal, he says, before righting himself and spinning on his heel to face the exit, his multicolored robes swirling. He closes the door softly behind him, leaving you alone with your sire. And if we show the stats, I'm sure that's sunk down, yeah. Ooh. He hates us, but Corliss quite likes us. Corliss waits several seconds until she's certain that Kashif has left the adjoining room. These rumors concern me, Silas. Have you grown weary of your paperwork? You can't help but an involuntary nod. The task is dreadfully dull. Finally, Fade groans. Very well, she says. We must begin an investigation into the rumors of Arundel's disappearance. If he was truly beckoned, it would be best to learn everything we can before the accusations begin. Accusations? Of course, child, don't be so naive. In the event of a powerful kindred's disappearance, blame and suspicion are always certain to follow. In this particular case, I am Ottawa's second in command. If the prince cannot be found, I will assume control of domain until such time as he returns. The office of Seneschal is not one to take lightly. Arundel handpicked me for the position, against the will of the court, and such slights are rarely forgotten. I expect many of those same self-serving licks will work against me in the coming nights. They may have begun spinning their schemes already. You nod in understanding. I must ask, Corliss continues, have you personally heard rumors about the prince's disappearance? From whom? You've actually heard several mentions of such rumor, most recently from Corliss's other child, Luca, and your retainer, Gerard. Telling Corliss this may ingratiate her to you, but you doubt Luca or Gerard would appreciate your loose tongue. Luca mentioned it to me after the raid, though it sounded like more of a quiet concern than a spreading rumor. My ghoul Gerard said there are rumors amongst the servants that Arundel has left the city. Making a Malkavian character. Yeah. I feel like it's something you would really have to work with, what do they call them? The Game Master? They don't call it the Dungeon Master. It's something you'd probably have to talk with the Game Master quite a lot. I tried to run a Vampire the Masquerade game before I knew a lot about it. And one of my players made a Malkavian, and I just had no fucking clue. So I'm saying this out of experience. I had no fucking clue what to do. And I didn't know what they were expecting out of it. So maybe have a nice, good, long session 0 and definitely talk about how you want your Malkavian to work and what little bits of madness they should have. Because otherwise, your Game Master will just wait for you to initiate those moments. You don't know how checks work in stats. So if we are all for Corliss, hair swoop, just let them do what they want. We can't throw Gerard under the bus. I'm just deciding that for us. So Luca it is, if we're going to be romancing Key again. I keep saying again, you guys have never romanced Key. I've romanced Key. There she is. I would have thought the child would have more sense, Corliss says with a sniff. She spent too much time away from the court. Perhaps I should have taken a firmer hand with her. Thank you for informing me. I really like the red eyes it adds to the look. Thank you for informing me, Silas. Your honesty is greatly appreciated. She looks over at a sheet of paper on her desk for a few silent seconds before returning her attention to you. 2 missions, Childer. As my eldest is currently absent, you may choose... Oh, so are we the youngest? We're the youngest then. I didn't realize that. I thought we were the eldest. So there's an eldest, there is Luca, and we are the youngest. Interesting. I step on me, mommy. She looks like she'd uppercut in a second. Yeah. We're the BB. Yeah, we are the youngest. Interesting. I forgot that for some reason. You may choose, and the remaining assignment will go to Luca. She holds up her index finger. First, the prince is meant to leave the city. If the prince meant to leave the city in secret, it's likely he would have taken to the sewers. He's far too recognizable. Many blue bloods would never consider such a thing, but Arundel never held himself above the Nosferatu. I need you or Luca to visit the Primogen, Bouchard, in his lair. Question him gently about any unusual activity he may have learned about in his domain. Corliss holds up another finger. Second, I need you to speak to one of our elder Ventru at our estate. Vivian Meyer was the last of us to meet with Arundel according to the prince's personal agenda. Anything she can tell us about that night could be vital in discovering the prince's location. I might leave it there for today so that I can go back to my busy work, and we can decide which to go to next. I think the first time I played, I visited Bouchard first, because I really like his character. But I won't decide that this time. My thought is like, in concept of perception and insight, with the Malkavian glazing over their eyes and murmuring, "Can't you hear the trees? They're screaming in the walls." Yeah. Yeah, probably. I don't know, I haven't read a lot of the Malkavian rules, so I'm not too sure. But I feel like a lot of it is kind of up to whatever you work out with the game master. It seems... I don't know, Vampire the Masquerade has a lot of open flexibility. It's very big on the rule of cool. If it fits the story, if it's fun, and everybody agrees with it, then do it, right? These games are meant to be fun. It's not like, I don't know. D&D has some rules that I just choose to ignore, because every now and then they're like, they just kind of fuck the situation. The rule of cool. That's literally what it calls it in the book. It has a big chapter title called The Rule of Cool. But yeah, it's basically like, if it fits the story, if it makes everybody happy, then you're playing the game to be happy, right? Just do it. It doesn't matter if it breaks the rules. Sometimes the rules are dumb. Yeah. At the end of the day, the DM is the law of the land. Yeah, very true. I only know like half the rules of D&D. Or less? Probably less. I don't know a lot of D&D rules, but the story matters a lot more to me. Anyways, I gotta get going. I got to, like I said, get working on a lot. But thank you guys for stopping by. But yes, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Oh, wrong one. There we go.